Hello, everyone. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes for audience members to connect. We're in the middle of a major snowstorm in the Northeast, so hopefully all of our internet stays on for this event, which we're very excited for. I just want to bring your attention, there will be simultaneous interpretation available in Spanish. So if you look at your, I think we've been putting messages in the chat, but just in case you need to look at the toolbar at the bottom, you'll see a world. And if you click on that, you can select English or Spanish. So I'm going to get us started. My name is Erin Canan. I'm the Vice President for Civic Engagement at Bard College, which is located in upstate New York. And I'm also part of the Civic Engagement Initiative for the Open Society University Network. And we're thrilled to be here today for what is the first of 3 workshops led by our brilliant engaged scholars for the second cohort. We've done this for 2 years now. These scholars are 3 of the 24 awardees from 14 countries who received grants to support their work. The initiative is called Amplifying the Voices of Engaged Researchers from Around the World, and it's a shared collaboration between the Telwar Network of Engaged Universities and the Open Society University Network, or OSUN as we call it. Our workshop participants today cross geopolitical boundaries, and we hope will amplify their very powerful voices. Scholars who center community voices take on unique challenges. Their goals go beyond their research to include a commitment to long-term sustainable community partnerships that incorporates and centers the expertise of their collaborators. We know this research is movement building, and we know it is also difficult. Our role as conveners is to provide support mechanisms for our scholars to amplify their critical work and to use our shared networks to demonstrate what is possible as we challenge universities and scholars to find ways that their research can help meet the urgent needs of our times. Our scholars and our network partners ask themselves, what can we do together that we can't do alone? And we believe the work represented here today will deepen our understanding of the answer to that question. And we believe that the partnership represented between the Telwar Network and the OSUN Network will help us find innovative ways to continue to answer that question. So I'm going to turn the floor over to our scholars so they can get right to it.
I'll speak in Spanish. Good morning, good evening also. On the other side of the world, we are Carol Montealegre, Sooriya Arya, and Nadia Ordoñez. We are part of the cohort that Irina has just mentioned. Each of us is working with an organization in their respective countries. Carol and myself are from Colombia. We're working with Colombian organizations, and Sooriya is working with an Afghan organization. Today, we bring to you a workshop that we've called Connecting Dots, Entangling Women's Experiences of Women from Colombia and Afghanistan in Peacebuilding. So basically, well, now she's translating it into Spanish. So let me make a brief introduction of the workshop and what we planned for today. And then I'm going to introduce the 3 organizations that we've invited here today. And then we'll give them the floor because basically the exercise is to have a dialogue about the experience of these 3 organizations in these 2 countries. So I'd like to thank you for your presence, your excitement, and also Erin, Taylor, and Osun and Tallard and Osun. We also want to thank the logistics and financial support that help us be present here today. So Carol, Sooriya, and myself, we share a fundamental motivation in our research, which is seeking for spaces so that the struggle of women are strengthened, whether either from opposed poles of the planet as Colombia and Afghanistan. We are here today because we want to share with you that excitement of resistance of women in our countries, especially also the visibilization of the scope of all of these efforts when they are entangled. That's why a question for this workshop is, what is the scope of the creation of networks for women? We are basing on a fundamental idea. Women network save, women network struggle, resist, love, as well as they cry and are afraid together. Being together is what makes them stronger. So today's space gathers 3 Colombian and Afghanistan organizations that promote peace building, and they do so by weaving networks and connecting dots, entangling struggles, love, and awareness. We want to dilute that feeling that we sometimes have. We want to go straight to the fundamental aspect that we are not on our own. And even though we might have remote distances, we are here for the value of life, the dignity of life, the continuity of life, especially the life of women. Angela Davisa has said in a recent conference that this is the era of women, and we agree with that. We believe that this era is here now because it has been a joint dream of all women at each corner of the country. It's been a huge pleasure for Carol, Sooriya, and myself to have the privilege of meeting these strong women that are looking for reconciliation and peace. Each of them has their own stories, but of course, here we are to listen to those who have been our teachers. We have women from Colombia, from Afghanistan, and from Colombia from 2 different regions. We have from Montes to the north of the country, and Huila women in the south of the country. We have women also from Asomopaz, the Association of El Huila Women for Peace. If you raise your hand, hello, there you are. So this is an association of women in the process of reincorporation, women who are victims, youth, peasants, and single mothers based in El Huila, Colombia, as I was saying, at the south of the country. Their goal is to guarantee and defend and also strengthen the rights of women, promoting political and democratic participation. And among their demands are the effort to implement peace agreement, especially with a gender approach. Let's remember that Colombia Peace Agreement is one of the pioneer agreements in implementing gender measures, and this has been done, and this has made it one of the most progressive agreements at all. The women we're going to speak today with really know about the efforts demanded to implement this gender approach in agreements, and we'll surely talk about that. We also have the Afghan organization, Osgarish Civil and Social Organization, that was established in 2018. I don't know if Sooriya, are you there? Well,
I'm here.
Hello, there you are. So the Osgarish Afghan Organization is a civil society organization created in 2018 with the name of capacity building of youths. They are also interested in de-radicalization and women empowerment programs. After 40 years of conflict in Afghanistan, a platform allowing them to multiply their voices and speak is really necessary. They have been pioneers in peace building and have presence in more than 8 areas in the country. For instance, they have worked in book distribution and also the promotion of spaces so that women know about their rights and are aware about them and really know what are the tools they can use to do that. Today, we have 2 extraordinary women representing these struggles. They are activists, and they are advocates of human rights and the rights of women. Both of them have long experience and have worked with academic and national and international organizations in these political advocacy processes. It's a pleasure to have them here with us this morning in Colombia and this evening in Afghanistan, and they won't be turning on the cameras for a matter of security. We also have Colectivo de Comunicaciones de Monte de María. You can raise your hand, Sori and Sarita. And also Ms. Rosina. The collective is a civil society organization whose main purpose is to contribute to the positive transformation of the territory and the dignification of the population of Montes de Maria in north of Colombia. This has been one of the areas, together with the southern part of our country, one of the most effective areas due to armed conflict where we have different types of players. However, this collective has really strived to dignify life, to promote destigmatization of the area, and also to promote a sense of identity based on the resistance of its population. The lines of action are intertwined around communication, education, and cultural management. It has two very important working pillars: the Audiovisual Festival of the Montes de Maria, called FAMA, and the Itinerant Museum of Memory and Identity of Montes de Maria, called El Mochuelo. For more than 30 years, this collective has been working with the most vulnerable population of the territory, including women, youth, and children, and has recently implemented projects focused on the prevention of gender violence to nonviolent masculinities, and also the empowerment of women in peace building. In 2003, they were granted the International Peace Award. Today we have Sooriya, Rosina Martinez, and Sarah Merck. From their own expertise, they've been fundamental pillars in building women networks in all of the Montes de Maria territory. It's a pleasure to have them here so that they can share their own experience with us. As I was saying, the purpose today is that we get together and share experience, and we hope this will be a fluent dialogue based on their experience. So let me now give the floor to Somopaz. I would like them to introduce themselves so that they can tell us who are with us today. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, Carol. We've been working with her and with Erin also, and everyone else, the space, and all of you here who are here to listen to us right now. We are at the heart of the association. It's several of us here. I am Karen Treyes Munoz. Nice to meet you. Right now, I'm a legal representative of this association, and I work in some other committees that we have within the association. Let me give the floor to my colleagues so that they introduce themselves. Good morning to everyone. We would like to greet you very warmly here from Colombia. I'm Blanca Sofia Valencia. I'm part of the board for this association. Good morning. I am Donna Lucero Sam. I would like to greet you all. She's speaking really very low. Good morning. My greetings to all of you here in this space. I am Lydia Sila, or better known as La Casita. I am a peace advocate. Good morning. I also work here for Peace Ring Corporation, and I would like to warmly greet you all. We will ask you please to get closer to the mic so that the interpreters can better listen to what you're saying. Good morning. I am Jenny Zambrano. I am also part of the Ring Corporation process, and I am also part of this association as Somopaz. We are really willing to learn from you as well. Thank you very much. Let me now give the floor to Soorya, Sarah, and Rosina, the collective.
So Sarah and Rosina may take the floor while we fix. Good morning. I am Rosina Ochoa. Hello. Good evening. Nice to see you. I am Sara Katarina Meg. I am German, and I've lived here for half a year that I've been part of the collective, and I am the gender coordinator.
Sooriya, everybody already introduced themselves, and Diana already talked about the organizations. Can you invite your colleagues to present themselves, whoever are present?
So I would like to introduce Miss Nadia, as we spoke before. As Diana also introduced her, so she would like to tell about her journey of peace building. And I would like to give floor to Miss Nadia Amanyar, who is a peace advocate and has 10 years of experience in this field. Thank you.
Hello everyone. I hope good evening. I hope all of you are well. I'm Nadia Amanyar, and I have 10 years of experience on engagement and raising awareness and promoting women's rights from Kabul, Afghanistan. And I always interesting to promote women's in peace, and also I'm an education activist.
So I think we can start with a round of questions. As I said, we have some questions about what has been your experience in creating networks of women? What have been the lessons learned from this experience in creating networks? So we would like you to speak from your experience, the work of each organization. I would like to listen to your personal experiences as well that can help us understand this creation of network. So we can start with Asomupas. Well, this is the first question, right? What have been the lessons learned in creating networks? Or you would rather translate the question?
Oh, it's okay. The question will be, what has been your experience in creating networks of women for promoting peace?
So this is what Diana just said. What has been your experience in creating networks of women? So you have 10 minutes. Each collective has 10 minutes. So I will interrupt in minute number 9 so that you all can speak for the group. Thank you. Can you hear me, comrades? Can you hear me? Our experience in creating our organization has been very rewarding. It has been very important. It has also been painful because creating these organizations in general mark us, leaves footprints, leaves blood. And we cannot ignore that being a leader and a women leader in this country also costs blood and tears. So the experience that we collected is that we need to be brave, we need to be authentic, we need to be persistent, we need to resist. The other experience that we collected is learning to strengthen ourselves, learning to manage conflicts, learning to create more just societies, more inclusive societies. We have also learned to be more peaceful ourselves, to manage gender equality. And what else have we learned? Well, we've learned to promote our rights and to protect our rights. We are brave women. You know that in Colombia, women are characterized from being strong, and pain has never defeated us, despite having many, many problems. And despite having touched the floor many times, we always stand up and keep on walking. So we need to keep on creating strategies to move forward, to look for peace here in Colombia. So this is my intervention here. Thank you. I would like to add, sorry. Yes, please get closer to the computer mic. In line with what Sophia said about the question made about our experience in creating networks of women for promoting peace. I have little experience because I signed the agreement. My experience is short, but very rewarding. This has been a beautiful experience because I was able to meet women, not just from my territory, but also from the country as a whole. And as you can see here, from the international sphere with different voices. So I was able to meet the victims. I was able to meet indigenous women, the Hoyles, and with other communities. And this is a learning that strengthens my knowledge every day. And also my leadership in order to keep on promoting peace. So as a woman myself, I am confident that this network has been very useful because other human rights networks at district level, at province level, have been created with feminists, with women leaders that advocate for women's rights. And one of our objectives has been to demand the implementation of the peace agreement signed in Havana, Cuba. So it was very interesting because we were able to know other experiences, and we are able to interact and engage with the Colombian society so that they also know our points of view. So we as an organization, this has been our objective, to create an organization of women that fight and struggle for women's rights, to build peace, and that encourages women to participate in politics. Thank you. Just a minute, I am told on the chat to clarify signing. She signed the peace agreement. So let me explain. In 2016, after 60 years of conflict with one of the armed groups in Colombia, a peace agreement was signed between the FARC and the Colombian government, the revolutionary group and the Colombian government. So the people who signed this peace agreement on the side of the FARC are the signatories. The signatories signed this agreement in Havana, in Cuba, and they are in the process of joining the civil society, and they changed their struggle and their fight to work for peace and conciliation, leaving and dropping their activism in armed groups. So signatories are people who signed this peace agreement. The dissidents, they are a small group that still operates in a part of the country, but the signatories are these people who signed this peace agreement. Anybody would like to expand on this, to elaborate more on this point? So our comrades from Asomu Pass, would you like to clarify? Yes, sorry. I wanted to add that, well, after the peace agreement was signed, those of us who were part of the guerrilla group are the signatories, the FARC, yes, the old guerrilla group. However, they also call us people in process of reincorporation or guerrilla people. The media has used other terms that we do not feel identified with those terms, but we are called signatories to the peace agreement, people in the process of reincorporation, or guerrilla people. Okay, anybody else would like to add something? So you have 1.5 minutes. Anybody would like to say something else? Or we give the floor to someone else? Okay, let's continue. Diana, go ahead. Well, the same question for others. What has been your experience in creating networks of women for promoting peace? Can you hear me? Yes. I am Sooriya Arya. I'm sorry I could not connect a few minutes ago. Hello to everybody. From Montes de Maria, from the Caribbean in Colombia. We are weaving and creating networks for the past 30 years, and not just with women, but with men and children and cultural sectors. Then we had a big armed conflict that was very hard. And we are living through the consequences of that conflict, particularly women who were sexually abused here in our territory. And we've been creating networks from communication for social change, from memory, education, and culture. And we believe that art, communication, active memory will give way to this engagement between the youth and women. That's why we've been working with women and the youth lately. It is very important that men and women can transfer their knowledge, and through memory, they can heal their wounds with a political voice, what they feel, what they resist. We believe that when silence was first broken, we were first intentionally sent to silence by all guerrilla groups. And the media changed its format in chronicles, interviews. So with 50 women, with a journalist grant for social sustainability, we started talking with 50 women who broke their silence amid the bombs, amid the explosions of their anguish and distress. And we started creating networks with children. We thought it was very important to work with them so that they could tell their stories. So all through these years, we've been part of the networks, the media. And currently, we are part of the regional table of women leaders and human rights advocates with more than 100 processes. Rosina is part of it. And probably she can also share with us the work that we are doing with the network of women and youth in Montes de Maria. So they can share with us their thoughts as well. Thank you. I would like to greet all participants. And as Sora said, we at Montes de Maria started working, all women, creating a network in the face of conflict. Conflict transformed our network to gain more strength because we know there's the need to defend human rights. So this has strengthened our network. So we combine human rights with culture, communication, and memory in each of the actions that we take at Montes de Maria. And this is the reason why I believe that it's very important to put our effort in strengthening our position to live in peace, to work with women. And we started working in regional networks. This has been hard work, sometimes with its ups and downs, but we are always showing what we do, our strengths, in our actions, in our creative exhibitions as well, to say that Colombia is a country that is very rich in its humanity and everything that we have in the country. So it's a great network. It's been hard, but it was not impossible. And we keep on creating new networks. We are part of dialogue tables for peace, also working in the protection of human rights. And I give the floor to Sarah.
Currently, I think that a very important approach, we are trying to work in this network and make it an intergenerational network. We are aiming at young people so as to generate an exchange of ideas and also to break up with those cycles of violence and also close any intergenerational gaps and to create those spaces for dialogue and conversation where the eldest speak to the young people, and so that the young people can understand based on an experience of life and listen to what it is that they need based on their experience, on their questions. So this is an important approach we have right now. And we are also trying to aim at intergenerational gender approach. And here we have a very diverse network and they are very diverse territories. So I believe it's really very important to understand this diversity in terms of territory and listen and to see the different local contexts, the different local needs, the historical context as well. And then we can continue building up based on those diversities. And if we have a little bit more time, let me also add that we bet on defending life, but we also bet on implementing the peace agreement. We've been to Havana with the 60 victims that were there and women who were part of it with the delegations. We were jointly with men, and those of us who were there, we demanded for the implementation of a peace agreement and also measures on gender to have a differential approach. And all women and all Colombian women networks, all platforms present there, were also asking for a space so that the peace agreement could have the 122 gender measures. Also today with the negotiation with LLL, with the total peace, we also demand the presence not only of government delegates, but also from civil society, organized women that can also help and lead and give our experience so that they can also listen to this differential approach. That's why in Montes de Maria, we also have a commitment, a pilot project. We also started to implement the group peace agreement, even amid the pandemic. So 5 years ago, these women have been working also in networks in order to implement peace agreement, especially on point 1 of Habana of a comprehensive development where most of our women here in this territory are peasants. So that's why it's very important to continue to work on those gender measures. And we should also demand and advocate permanently from our organizations in whatever type that is, whether they are peace signatories or victims associations or human rights leaders and advocates, we should all be together so that we can continue to listen to women's voices and continue to position their rights and their defense. Thank you, Sori. Maybe I should give some context. The peace process that was signed with the FARC, as I said, was a more than 4 years process, and this was not the first one. It was part of a very long process, and they have very long experience in relation to signing peace agreements, and this has been one of the most successful ones. But currently, with another guerrilla that still exists in the country, we are also trying to go forward with a peace process. We are in negotiations, but it's really very incipient. It should also be clarified that it was women's and a network of women's throughout the whole country and initiatives along the whole country. They marched, they made political advocacy, they supported the process, not only during these 4 years of conversations in Habana, but they also worked prior to that so that this implementation of gender measures were or became a fact. I mean, there is clearly a very important exercise on the part of the negotiating team, but without the advocacy of a network of women, this exercise would have been even more difficult. So, of course, this is part of all the experience of women throughout the country. This has been, this agreement in Colombia is great success. We have 2 African women. We might give them the floor right now. Sooriya?
Yes, Diana, we have Shakila and Nadia who joined us. They are advocate of peace activists from Afghanistan, and I would like to give the floor for Shakila, who recently joined us and had some technical problem. So I would like to give the floor to her. Thank you.
Hello and good evening to everyone. This is Shakila from Afghanistan. I am working as an activist for the rights of people with disability and also women in Afghanistan since almost 10 years. And currently I am a volunteer with different civil societies, which is working for the rights of women and also specifically rights to education. And I would like to share my experiences as an activist since I joined. As I am a girl with physical disability of right leg, and I know how difficult it is for a girl with disability to live in a society where they are experiencing different types of discrimination. Being and also with a disability, it is really difficult. And but I never lose my hopes. And I consider my disability as my ability and also as my strength. And I'm not only working or thinking only for myself, but for all other women and also girls who are living in Afghanistan and we are working for their rights. And I have participated in different programs through which I can raise awareness about women rights, and specifically girls and women with disability, because they are experiencing different types of disability. And through this platform, it's also a channel where I created a network of a group of women which from different ages, like about 18, with different types of education, and from different provinces of Afghanistan. And this network, there were around 20 to 30 women, which from different provinces of Afghanistan, and also they had different experiences and how they can promote peace building in Afghanistan. And we have organized different event through which we were joining, and we were experiencing our experiences and also ideas, and even a single step towards peace is very beneficial for all the country and also for all the people. And as Afghanistan is a country which people experienced war since 40 years, like all the young generation, they have experienced conflict. They were burned during the conflict, raised during the conflict, during war. So they all have a very bad memories from the war. So each and every person is trying to bring positive changes, how they can promote peace, or how they can work towards peace building. And during this network, which women were joining with us, and each and everyone was supporting this process through their activities, through their experiences, through their knowledge. And we were able to achieve what we were asking for. Our main aim was peace building, and also network, that how young generation from different parts of Afghanistan should join, and they should share their experiences. And even those women who are in the villages, in rural areas, although they are they have more experience, and also they have their they have experience. Even they lost their family members, like a son, or like brothers, husband, and they have pains with their they have pains in their life. So their voices were like very powerful. And that was the reason that we were trying to share their experiences and also their stories, so that it should have a because if some in case someone is losing their family members due to the war, and due to the conflict in the country, but when they are raised, when they are sharing their stories, their experiences, so it has a positive impact. And it is helping us, through which we can achieve our objectives or our goals. And even in the villages, and also in the villages, we were am I audible to all of you?
Yes, Shakila, we hear your voice.
Okay. Even we were communicating with those women and also girls who are from the rural villages, and from the those villages which is very very far from the cities. And those women were like, they were not heard before, like they were there was was no chance for them to share their stories, or how they can, for example, how they can convince their people around them, like their male family members, so that they should also raise their voices for peace, and they should motivate the people, or how they can inspire the people to work for peace, and even for by campaigning about how we can help our country through which resources, and what were the negative impact of the war in our lives since 40 years, and how we can have a happy life. Everyone, like every Afghan woman or Afghan man, has the right, like the same other people, which they have a peaceful life, and also they have they have access to their basic rights. So we were like convincing them that how they should try to achieve what we want, how we can have a peace in our life. Even we can start peace from our own personal life. When a family is living, like there might be 5 or 6, 7 members. So our first objective was also this, our priority, that peace should be start from our own self, from our own family. So when we are living peacefully, so it is spreading to the society. So it has a very great and positive impact in the society. When we have peace with our own self, so we will be trying to spread that to the society as well. And that was very useful. And the women in the villages, they play a very important role during this network which we had. And it was so it was very useful for us. And the challenges which we faced.
Okay.
Well, we have 1 minute left for their intervention, but I don't know if Sooriya, do you want to give the word to another Afghan woman, or should we continue with the next question?
We have 2 more Afghan women who would like to talk, but we can conclude with Shakila and her experiences. She has been advocating for peace building in Afghanistan for more than 10 years, and her contribution is extremely important. That's why we wanted to hear more about her works and her contribution with our program. I hope to have her till the end of the program. But our next participant will be Ms. Karishma Fedai. Like, she is also an advocate and peace builder in Jalalabad. Like, Jalalabad is a very, I would say that it's a, I would not consider it a dangerous place, but it is very hard to work there as a female activist, and she has been engaged there for more than 5 years. And she is among the activists who had contribution a lot. So I would like to give the floor for Ms. Karishma, if we have her here. Karishma Feda, please. Thank you. And then we would have our next speaker from Afghanistan, Nadia. And
hello, hope you all will be fine. And this is Nadia Yousafzai. And I am, you know that I am too happy that here your good and beneficial speech. You know that currently the situation of Afghanistan that we faced with lots of problem and difficulties. Before this government, I work as a social activist, and also I have membership of AWN, Afghan Women Nation. We work there on that conferences in every week. we had a conferences and we had a subject about the promotion of Afghan women, but we speak about it and we think about the application of that how how we can supply them and how we can support the Afghan woman. But unfortunately, today's in nowadays and also in this government, we don't have like this conferences. And you know that since 6 years I was a social activist, and as well as I work in media as well. When the government changed, suddenly my family told me that you should leave Kabul and you should go to the next province, and because they should the Taliban should understand that you are a social activist and you work so hard for in media as well. So leave Kabul and go to the next province. When I went the next province, I work for psychosocial support of women. I support them mentally because most of them that their husband they have jobs in this government. Their husband they are jobless, and some of them in the war they lose their son, their wife, any member of the family. They lose them. So this is why that it was in my power that I should give them psychosocial support, and I speak with them, give for them motivation, help them. And so this is why this is the works that we work with these women. And nowadays we don't ourselves we don't have self-care, and we have lots of stress, we faced with lots of tension. But you know that in Afghanistan this is not the first time that we faced with like these problems. You know, that's from 40 years we faced and we experienced like this difficulties and problems. So you know, we need peace in order to we make the future of ourselves and our society. But unfortunately nowadays we are living in a we living, but we don't know how to live, because the situation is not fair nowadays. So this is the Afghan girls and Afghan women's problem that we are facing with these problems. So I think
much, Madiha. John, can you please stick to the questions that Diana asked about your experiences of peace building? And as we know, like we know there are so many challenges, but if you stick to the questions, that will be perfect. We hear your contribution, and thank you for that.
Maybe we should continue. We are running out of time.
You can continue with your part, yes, with your team. We will have Madiha also in the questions session, so like any kind of discussions and questions, she would be available. And we also have Nadia and 2 other girls to proceed after your team. So let's continue. Thank you.
I will speak in Spanish. So as we are running out of time, we are We would like to open up for Q&A now. Questions to the audience. Any questions you may have, please raise your hands. Or, let me see, Marija.
Marija.
Yes, can I continue, Miss? Do you have my voice, ma'am?
Mira, we are running out of time. And actually, we were planning on asking another question that actually some of you already answered, that what have been the challenges in your own context for this Peacebuilding process? But we also would like to hear if the audience have question for you guys, because it would be interesting to hear, what the people have to ask, and also hear your answers. And one of the things that we were willing to promote with this conversation is the possibility of, between the organizations, for example, if Montes de Maria woman or Afghan woman or the Asan Hupas woman want to ask some questions to the other organizations in order to become like kind of a support group from each other. That was one of the things that we were willing to promote in this workshop. So I don't know, Diana, if we should open it for the collectives to ask questions to the other collectives, or if should we continue with the last question for the group, for the organizations, and then the audience. What do you suggest?
I would like to open for questions from the audience. I would like to listen to the audience, right? We have almost 45 people connected. So it would be a good opportunity to open up to the audience.
I can't put up my hand. I have a question. Okay, Nathan Greenfield from the University of World News. My question to any of the groups is, are you getting any support from women's groups or other groups, either in the United States or in Europe? And I'll take myself, or I'll mute myself now.
Azamobaz, would you like to answer? Yes. First of all, what type of support? Do you mean economic support or spiritual support? What type of support do you mean?
I guess any kind. I was mainly thinking of economic and or organizational.
Well, fortunately, women's organizations, as you said at the beginning, today the issue of women is of paramount importance. So it's like, this is our time. We are here to vindicate many issues that were very hard in the past. So fortunately, Azam has had support from abroad. You know, Carol Montealegre is the person that has helped us and has also invited us to this round of talks. We were in a process of healing, and we were discussing different topics with our women colleagues, and we realized that the spiritual issue, and for being women, we really needed to have support to overcome traumatic situations in the past or any other challenge that we've had. So we had her support from abroad, but also nationally, we've had support from many Colombian organizations. So many resources have been allocated for the peace process in general. And we've had economic support, education support, advisory support. We've received UN support, Caritas Colombia, social pastoral. We are about to get some support from Combas Foundation that supports ventures. And locally, we've also been supported by the mayor's office and some government offices that allocate resources for peace matters and victims. So our work at the association has focused on working with women from different backgrounds. And that makes it also very attractive because our work entails different backgrounds, different cultures, different perspectives. Our organization has a wide variety of views, as we say, of perspectives to the problematics. And we've had support, fortunately. We still like to have more support, of course, but we go little by little. We've been working since 2016, but only in the last 2 years, our ideas were more strongly materialized. So, well, today I can say that thanks to the support, we do have a building, a house. We also have the supplies for bakery activities. We have a store, and we've been able to organize self-sustainable spaces for people and some economic revenues and income for our friends. The Achira biscuit, for instance, which is our iconic production element, has been very successful. So we've had national and international interviews as well. That has helped us make our work visible. Anybody would like to add something? Actually, we have another question, by the way. Maybe we can join these two questions. The question is about what does it mean to the community organizations to be connected to universities? Is there a particular way universities can be the better partners from your perspective? Yes. We've just graduated from a diploma course. It's the diploma course in peace building that we made with the social pastoral and a university. And we started with the Mar.a University, which is here located at the Huila department. And so we have worked with them, particularly in education, advisory on human rights, also in territorial peace building. Actually, one of our main goals is to become territorial peace builders. That is very important for us. And we've had the support from local universities as well. Good. Anybody from the collective would like to say something? Yes. And in relation to that question, we support ourselves on 4 main pillars to sustain our organization and network. First, political sustainability. Second, social sustainability, cultural sustainability, and finally, economic sustainability. Based on these 4 pillars from each area of our organization, we work. We have never received direct resources. We've received calls to participate from Spain, from Switzerland and Norway. Then there was a call from FOS at a time, call to participate, and also ministries of culture. And after these 30 years, we believe this is very important. And then a research grant from the Ministry of Culture that was very important for us to start building peace and memory. And finally, prizes, also rewards. We were awarded the National Peace Prize. We were given 50 million pesos. And we used that money also to train women, particularly to fight against illiteracy of women. So we started working so that women could have access to education, at least to complete primary school and secondary school. And after that, we were able to establish many strategic alliances, not just money-based alliances, but partnerships for knowledge. Rosina, she's here, and other friends in the territory who put their knowledge at the service of the communities, and they are very good at providing support, help, whenever women are sexually abused, for example, or the table of rights of women leaders. So from that table, it's women who fight, who protect the rights. During the pandemic, by the way, we were able to remain and sustain ourselves, and food sovereignty issues too. We were able to give help, give support through Mayeni Angarita. She's a great leader. She was awarded the Courage Women Prize yesterday in the US. So we have the whole process from the movies to the radio to television to memory based on gender equality in a process that will soon come to an end with the USAID fund, the American fund. So we are exchanging our knowledge with the academia, with the University of the Andes, the National University, the Atlantic University, here in the north as well, and Sarah, they are from Germany. She's also exchanging her knowledge with Rosina, who is also a woman that has experience in this. I believe that the support that we've had among our networks has been key, not just to support and sustain our work, but also to ensure the continuity of our work. So it's important to have supporters along the process, particularly the peace process in Colombia that was very hard. So having people supporting our peace process has been key. People who take the social lead so that we can have the guarantees that we can participate in other processes too. Cultural processes, enterprise processes, to have supporters along the way. And it's also important as motivation to continue. That women can know what we do and we can support them. It's important that through these networks, we can make our work visible and we can finally get to public policies, raising our voices, as we say. Everything that women stand for must be translated into public policies too.
I invite you to start concluding because we have really very interesting questions on the chat and time's running out. So thank you very much for all of your knowledge and for sharing it with us. So I think let's make these questions in order. Luis Tays is asking to our colleagues in Afghanistan,
how to build peace and social cohesion in the context of the current ban of women to access education in Afghanistan. So I don't know if any of the women in Afghanistan will answer this. And then I'm gonna connect it with the next question that is, this is gonna be like an answer maybe from the Colombian crew, where it says, Sajid Jafar has been doing research on traumatized people from Afghan civil war. She said that these people has a lot of an anger naturally, and they are not willing to forgive. So they ask the Colombian crew, whoever wants to answer, like, what is the experience in Colombia about this? Well, on the one hand, what is the government's plan, which is very complex, because I feel, actually, I want to mention that in this conversatory, we have victims and, let's say, perpetrators, but in the war, everybody is a victim at the end, no? In my perspective. But for example, these two women collectives, I mean, some have like people that were fighters, but also victims of the war. And then I think the Montes de Maria crew is more from victims of the war, if I'm not wrong, right? So, okay, so let's give the word to the Afghan people about their context, and then we invite the Colombian crew to ask or to share their experience to the people in Afghanistan on how this process of forgiveness has been going.
For the question, we have Ms. Karishma who would like to respond to Mr. Luis's answer about how to build peace and social cohesion in the context of the current ban on women to access education.
Hello, everyone. I hope to be fine. I'm Karishma from Kabul, Afghanistan. 5 years working experience and engagement of women as a social activist. And now I'm also working in this field. And also it's a very difficult and critical situation for women, especially for activists that they are working in this critical situation of and the political situation of Afghanistan. But we are trying our best to have our activities as the previous time that we have worked, but now I'm also a social activist in Nangarhar, and also now I'm an activist and I'm a project manager from Kabul, and I have the lead of this project in all over the Afghanistan for women to engage them and capacitate them how to they work as their part. And can you, Sooriya John, repeat the question?
The question, Mr. Luis asked you that how to build peace and social cohesion in the context of current ban on women to access education, how to build peace and social cohesion in current situation. If Mr. Luis is there, he can elaborate further about his question. I guess our speaker did not understand the context.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You would like to continue?
Yes. We can engage all the women first and capacitate them and aware them about their rights, about their partnership, about their parts in the society and community, what's their role and responsibilities as a woman, because they have equal rights to men as well. And also we can train them by virtual ways. After that, we can group them, engage them to pave the way for a negotiation and dialogue to engage them and provide a way to make an advocacy group, and also a way to have meetings or advocacy meetings with the government to deal with them, and also convenience them about the rule of women and about the girls' education in Afghanistan and the rule of the women's. After that, we can provide the ways to engage them and make a peace building a group to provide a way to communicate with government, to provide or make a way and allow the girls for education, because the education is the basic rights, and it's natural to a girl can have access to the education. When a boy can go to school or go to the university, why a girl don't have the access or allowed to go to the school or to the university? First, we can engage all women and capacitate them to have and make a strong group or network. After that, we can make policies for and rules for this network, and can provide a proposed advocacy proposal and provide a way and invite the government or political groups and include them or in this way to have a good or success plan and advocacy group. After that, we can negotiate with the political group and the people that are in the picture of the government. After that, we can convenience them to give allowance to girls to access their education in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishma. So, I mean, it's supposed that we should end in 5 minutes, but I think that the people who is able to stay a little bit longer, I will invite them to stay, because for example, Yvonne has been her hand raised for a while, and we can continue with this question that I made previously about like, how do the women in Colombia can share or their experience on this peace building process among the diversity of the complex conflict in Colombia with the Afghan crew.
We're also eager to ask some questions from Colombian side. Like, I was so eager to hear about their journey, because this 20 years of our peace building journey and the journey of Colombian side is so much similar. And our journey ended up in a Doha deal where they gave everything to the terrorist group and just they sold Afghan women, like a negotiation table. And now the same journey is like started in Colombia, educating, capacity building, the psychological training, the trainings, fundings. Like, I don't know where it will end, but I hope it will have a positive end for the Colombian side. However, in Afghanistan, like, everything was put in a situation that we now like see the women are banned from education, work, political participation. So it's very interesting to see the journey of a new Colombia and the journey of Afghanistan, like 30 affected by war, and then it was like, it's very interesting to talk more with Colombian counterparts about it and share our experiences and listen from them and what's really happening underground. And really, it was really kind of heartbroken to listen from Afghanistan, because it is the country which is now, but in these 20 years, it wasn't like that. We had so many successful stories. We had so many joyful stories, impactful stories, stories of success, stories of achievements, stories of conflict management, engagement of women, and so many stories that was inspiring. And now, like, we hear the stories of ban, we hear the stories of women's struggles in Afghanistan, and we hear the stories of only that really makes us as human depressed and upset. And I hope it change. There is changing in some change in Afghanistan context, and we are very happy about the Colombian transformation. And listening to you guys really makes me happy, and it really inspires me to hear from every one of you as peace builder in your communities. And It's very inspiring, and I would like to hear more about the experiences. Like, though we have less time, if we can accommodate 15 minutes more, Carol, that will be so great to hear from them, because we always have these days negative stories from Afghanistan, but very positive stories from Colombia. And it's really making me very happy to see, to hear from them. And somehow we may have some good stories sharing with them about these 20 years, not now, but these 20 years that that was in the process of peace building for women was very successful. And a woman did not start it, or the war, and women are not included in these terrorist groups. They are mostly men. So what what we would like to share is very will be impactful for the Colombian side. And I hope to have more the other two Afghan girls who would like to talk more about it.
So I'm going to invite the people in Colombia to share the reconciliation processes among these women collectives, and what are the, I don't know, the sharings or advices they can give to people in Afghanistan about forgiveness and peace building. Thank you.
We've been in the conflict for many years, and also in building networks. And it's important for women to have psychosocial support. Having women share, having those experiences exchanged make us stronger. And also speaking and trying to express their emotions. That's a great opportunity. And we've learned how to manage those situations over time. So the experience in building these networks has allowed us to build peace in a more fluent manner. And has also managed to face situations related to armed conflicts in a different manner. And it's very difficult to obtain forgiveness unless there is truth in a situation. So we go through those situations. We try to clarify those situations, to open up for spaces to see whether social justice is finally possible. So these are some of the things that we try to learn through these processes. Thank you, Rosie. Well, I wanted to share with you, forgiveness is never established, but it is built. It's not imposed, but it is built. Even though it's a personal story, as there has been a peace agreement, we need to build collective peace. So as Rosina said, we have worked in many instances. And so people first wanted to heal their wounds by speaking, by making amends with their situations. As you know, thousands of sexually abused women, thousands of disappeared people. These are figures that entail a huge pain. So by building memory, by building active memory in the community, people feel better to speak up and to speak out. It is not easy with the victims to sit down at the table with the perpetrators of so much damage. And there are women here, the women of the Huila. They are former combatants, but they are also women, first and foremost. So it's very important to forge ties with them, to interact together, hugging each other, embracing each other to make forward. Unless we reconcile ourselves, we will not overcome the problems. In our countries, sometimes people are banned. Juana Luisa, she is the National Peace awardee. Thanks to her weaves, she started to heal her personal wounds, particularly in those instances where there's no public policy. Sometimes agreements are on paper and just remain on paper, but they are not put into practice. So women like Rosina, she has also forgiven those who perpetrated abuse to her family. And yesterday, we completed 23 years of the displacement of Mar.a. And those are wounds that must be healed, because no decree, no agreement will heal those wounds but ourselves. That's why I want to invite the network to also join our efforts. They are part of our collective, and they also are part of our story. Thank you. Juana, your camera is on. Let's see if we can hear you. No, we can't hear your audio. Juanita. Juana, let's see if she can. I mean, Juana is an experienced woman of Mar.a. She was also victim of armed conflict, of a forceful displacement here in Maria la Baja, one of the 15 municipalities that make up this region. And amid that displacement scenario, when she was fleeing away from that conflict, she joined the weaving community, and she healed her memory, she healed her wounds. So it's a very impactful experience that she has gone through. And not just the stories from the past, but also she's working for the future. She's part of the table of the Montes de Marias, leader women with 195 cases, 195 women, these cases that are being followed. So I believe that each one of us, from our experience, can do something. The peasants women with their field knowledge, the weaver women, and also the teachers. Our friends can also share with us how they have been building this process of creating networks, and how we can offer some lesson learned as we had lessons ourselves, and share this with our friends from Afghanistan. Hello, just 2 minutes, considering the time. And one of the most profound considerations that we've made at Montes de Maria in these 30 years of work is that, paradoxically, the war promoted the work of women. We were taken out of the historical patriarchal places at home. We were pushed into the forefront. We were pushed into the vanguard. So during war, men die, children die, neighbors die, but women survive in a very painful manner. But we survive. So that stance and that awareness of being there, standing there with the future on our shoulders, with the communities on our shoulders, make us have a political voice of the organization. So one of the main lessons learned in our search for transformation is the power of women's organization, our capacity to get together in a solidarity manner, in a smart manner, because we understand the contexts. Of course, the solutions are not easy. And this is related to the question that we answered. We have the academia, we have the church, we have international humanitarian assistance, we have lots of supporters in conflict areas, and sometimes the territorial political agendas that we also built, that we've made visible, are subject to political intervention in territories. And this is another challenge that we have in peace building, that our political agenda must be a priority, that it must be heard with respect. And my last element, my last comment that I wanted to say, whenever we have support and assistance, in addition to the agenda, we have the urgency and the importance of strengthening women's leadership in organizational processes, a leadership that learns how to build a collective, that can break up the silence, to work in a transparent manner, so that the leaderships can put transformation of territories as a priority, not just overcoming violence, but also transforming those structures that subjected us to historical violence. Thank you. Well, I think that we've run out of the 15 minutes as well. Time flies. I just want to thank you all for being part of this session. And we know that these multi-language, multi-time meetings have many challenges. However, I think that we can all conclude that the possibility is still open for future meetings. Thank you, Christina. Thank you very much for the interpreters as well. Thank you for your help, for the value attached to this meeting. And I'm not sure if we are formally over, or anybody would like to say something.
Yeah, if the translators need to leave, we are deeply grateful for the extra time they devoted to us, and thank you very much.
Thank you all so much for joining. This was an amazing conversation. And thank you especially also to the interpreters for staying an extra 15 minutes and for making this conversation accessible and making it happen for us. This was really, really amazing. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you all very much. And we are open for future conversations. Thank you. We will continue. Thank you. Hugs for everyone.
Thank
we
you.
will continue because life will find a way. Let me sing a peaceful song. This is for the women of El Huila. Probably you will visit our region. They bring their peace in the soul, the peace that my people need. This is a great song. I have a sacred message for the Virgin of Carmen. She's crying. And let's remember that with the guitar, he died while singing. They should never taint with blood the flowers. Everybody should have white from black. They should all hang together. Everybody, we are all brothers and sisters. Human warmth is necessary, and my people should not cry. My people should be happy. We feel close, so close in peace. And long live peace, long live women. So let's continue our struggle. Thank you. See you soon. Thank you.